The village of Villeneuve was small, quiet. Nestled amidst rolling hills, it was a place where time seemed to move slower. Elias, the village clockmaker, fit right in. His workshop, a haven of ticking pendulums and gleaming gears, was where he spent his days. Elias was an artisan, his hands wrinkled with age, yet still nimble and sure. He crafted each clock with precision, each tick a testament to his dedication. The villagers considered him wise, a keeper of time in more ways than one. Elias had always been fascinated by time. He saw it not as a linear progression, but as a flowing river, ever-changing yet constant. He believed each tick of a clock was a story, a moment in the grand tapestry of existence. One day, a stranger arrived in Villeneuve carrying a large, ornately decorated clock shrouded in a velvet cloth. The stranger sought Elias, his reputation preceding him. The clock, he explained, was an heirloom passed down through generations. It was broken, and he pleaded with Elias to repair it. Elias, intrigued by the intricate carvings on the clock's surface, agreed. As soon as Elias laid his hands on the clock, he felt a strange energy emanating from it. It was subtle, like a whisper carried on the wind. He dismissed it initially, attributing it to the clock's age. However, as he began to examine the intricate mechanism, he noticed something peculiar. The gears, instead of ticking, seemed to whisper. Their hushed tones sent shivers down his spine. Days turned into nights as Elias toiled away at the clock. The whispers from the gears grew stronger, more insistent. He felt an inexplicable pull towards the clock, as if it were calling out to him. Finally, he reached the heart of the mechanism. There, nestled amongst the gears, lay a glowing orb. It pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, captivating Elias with its beauty. As Elias reached out to touch the orb, the whispers from the gears reached a crescendo. The workshop around him began to shimmer and distort. He felt a sense of vertigo, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. He looked around, his heart pounding in his chest. The workshop was gone. Elias found himself in a grand hall, its ceiling lost in shadow. Clocks of every imaginable size and shape lined the walls, each one ticking in a different rhythm, creating a symphony of time. A figure stood at the far end of the hall, bathed in a soft golden light. The figure turned, and Elias found himself looking into a pair of ancient, knowing eyes. "Welcome, Elias, clockmaker of Villeneuve," the figure greeted, his voice echoing in the vast hall. "I have been expecting you." Elias, still reeling from his experience, could only stammer, Where am I?" The figure smiled kindly. "You are in the heart of time, Elias. This is the nexus where all moments converge." The figure led Elias through the hall, explaining the workings of time. Each clock, he revealed, represented a life. Each tick was a moment passing. Finally, they stopped before a magnificent clock, its face adorned with constellations instead of numbers. "This, Elias, is the clock of fate," the figure explained, his voice filled with reverence. "It governs the destiny of all beings." Elias stared at the clock, mesmerized by its intricate workings. He could sense the immense power it held, the power to control the past, present, and future. "Why bring me here?" Elias asked, his voice barely a whisper. "Why show me this?" The figure turned to him, his eyes filled with a profound sadness. "The clock you hold in your workshop, Elias, is the key to this place," the figure explained. "It is a bridge between your world and mine." He placed a hand on Elias's shoulder, his touch sending a jolt of energy through the clockmaker's aged body. "You, Elias, have been chosen. You have the power to alter fate, to change the course of history." Elias stepped back, overwhelmed by the revelation. The weight of the figure's words pressed down on him, heavy and suffocating. To hold the power to change time itself. The very thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. He looked around at the countless clocks, each representing a life, a story. Should he interfere with their delicate balance? Section 7. Time's immutable flow. Elias spent what felt like an eternity in the hall, contemplating the enormity of what he'd learned. He watched the clocks, observed the intricate dance of time. He saw moments of joy and sorrow, of love and loss, of triumph and defeat. He realized that time, for all its complexities, was a delicate tapestry, Each thread, each moment was interconnected. To tamper with one was to risk unraveling the whole. The figure, who Elias had come to know as the Keeper of Time, observed him patiently. He didn't urge Elias, didn't try to sway his decision. He knew that the true test of character lay not in wielding power, but in understanding when to refrain from using it. He saw in Elias a deep respect for the natural order, a reverence for the flow of time. Section 8. The Clockmaker's Resolve. Finally, Elias approached the Keeper, his face etched with the weight of his decision. "I can't do it," he said, his voice firm despite the tremor in his heart. "The power to change time, it's too much. To interfere with fate is to disrupt the natural order of things." He looked up at the Keeper, his eyes filled with newfound wisdom. Every moment, however insignificant it may seem, has its place in the grand scheme of things. The Keeper nodded, a glimmer of approval in his ancient eyes. He had expected no less from Elias. The Clockmaker had passed the test, not by wielding power, but by understanding its true cost. "You have chosen wisely, Elias," the Keeper said. "The clock of fate remains under my watch, but the key to this plate, it remains with you." Section 9. Back to the familiar. The world shimmered once more, and Elias found himself back in his workshop. The mysterious clock sat on his workbench, its intricate carvings seeming to gleam in the dim light. He reached out and touched its surface, feeling once again the faint hum of energy emanating from within. It felt different now, not menacing, but comforting, like the steady beat of a familiar heart. He completed the repairs, his hands moving with a practiced ease that belied the turmoil he'd experienced. When he finally finished, the clock chimed, its sound clear and resonant, no longer laced with whispers. It was no longer just a clock, it was a reminder of his journey, of the weight of time and the importance of letting fate run its course. Section 10. Every second a universe. The stranger returned for his clock, none the wiser about its true nature or the journey Elias had undertaken in its repair. Elias watched him leave, a knowing smile gracing his lips. He returned to his work, his hands moving with a newfound purpose. He no longer saw time as a series of ticks and tocks, but as a flowing river, each moment a universe unto itself. From that day forward, Elias lived each day with a profound appreciation for the preciousness of time. He shared his wisdom subtly, reminding the villagers that every second was a gift, a chance to create, to love, to experience the beauty of existence. The clocks he crafted continued to mark the passage of time in Villeneuve, each tick a silent testament to the clockmaker's secret.